I don't think you have to watch anything before the new one. I would hope all three movies are standalone, but if you wanted to watch something to get you in the mood, I would say a good triple bill would be Wolf Thriller's Village of the Damned, Brian Forbes' The Stepford Wives, and Brian Forbes' 1975 Stepford Wives, not the other one. And then Philip Kaufman's remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Those would be three pretty good ones to get you in the mood. I hope not. I think I'd like to think that me and Simon and Nick would work together again. I mean, it's funny to think of anything in the future because we literally just finished the new one like last week. And so I was just very happy that we got to do a third one together because, you know, it was 6 years since Hot Fuzz, and you know, we really sort of moved everything else away so that we could make this one, and before it was too late. So I'm really pleased that we got to do this one, and I hope that we get to work together again, and I think we will. Timothy Dalton is amazing. He's a total pro. He's completely kind of gung-ho in the fight scenes. So like he's got pretty roughed up in Hot Fuzz, but I love him. I think he's really funny. I think his timing is amazing. He's got the most amazing voice. He does these incredible vocal warm-ups just before a take, which is something to witness. So it's quite something to see Timothy Dalton going hum 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 hum. It's something you got to see. I have never seen it, so I don't know. I actually, there's quite a few zombie things I have not seen, and it's because I feel that when I made Shaun of the Dead, I equate it to being a fan of chocolate cake, and then making a chocolate cake, and then never wanting to eat chocolate cake ever again. So whilst I love zombie films, and I'm not against zombie like sort of books, comics, films, games, there's a certain part of me that kind of felt like I'd sort of I'd got something out of my system, and so there's quite a few. I think people would be surprised by the number of zombie things that I haven't seen in the last 10 years, and that's no disrespect to any of those movies, but I just kind of, it's almost like the last thing that I want to watch. I think Gary King might win because I'm not sure that he'd fight entirely fair. Maybe Nicholas Angel would probably be the, like, sort of have all of the technique, but I think he'd be quite by the book. I think Gary King would be sort of lots of below the belt moves. So I think sort of possibly be a tie between Nicholas Angel and Gary. No, I think they were two different things. I think the book series is amazing, and Brian's ending is great, and I don't think they really, I mean, you know, we always knew it was going to be something slightly different, and Brian actually was involved in writing the final scene. We actually wrote a new ending that myself, Michael McCall, and Brian Lee O'Malley wrote. So he was very involved in it, and he was very sort of happy with the idea that it would diverge, because, you know, the comic is the comic and the film is the film. So I see it as two slightly different kind of parallel dimensions, basically.
Cool.
But the book is better. What do you want me to say? I think sort of like, you know, even over the last 3 years, it's kind of built up its own following, and I think that just comes from, you know, I think there's something when something it doesn't fit entirely into one box, you've got to work a little harder to explain the movie to people. So I think because Scott Pilgrim like touched on a number of genres like action, comedy, romance, fantasy, like action, it was always going to be a slightly harder sell. And I think, you know, like, I think it wasn't, because it wasn't completely generic. Like, sometimes people just want, like, you know, the cinematic equivalent of a ready meal and something that's very easily, that they can kind of quantify. So, you know, you could tell that from the trailer, the reaction, that sort of as many people that would say, oh my God, that looks amazing, as would say, I have no idea what that is. So I think it's just down to sort of, if you're trying to do something slightly different, you just got to work twice as hard to sell it to people. And it was a tough film to kind of like sort of explain. So I think that's the thing. But on the flip side of it, like, I was very proud of the movie, and you know, I couldn't be that disappointed because I knew that the movie was strong and I knew it would eventually get out there. Because I went through a similar thing with Space. Space was never a big ratings winner ever, and but we all were very proud of the show, and we just had sort of faith in it, and then it eventually found its audience on DVD. So I sort of, when I went through the same thing on Scott Pilgrim, I just had to sort of have faith in what I'd made and that it would get out there, and I feel that like it has started to build up this following. And what's nice as well is it still plays on the big screen a lot, which, like, you know, films that are massive, massive hits kind of like do their couple of months at the cinema and then never get seen on the big screen ever again, or nobody ever wants to see them ever again. And what's really nice is that Scott Pilgrim, like, somewhere in the world is playing like at midnight, or is just, you know, in some cinemas, you know, like the Prince Charles show all the time, and like the New Beverly in Los Angeles. And I like that. I think that makes me very happy that people are still seeing it with a crowd, you know, and also that it's built up this, you know, they've made 4 Blu-ray editions, so somebody must be buying it. It's already onto its fourth new cover. So I was thinking, well, it must be doing okay. I don't know. I think sort of like, I think I already got all of that out of my system in Scott Pilgrim. I feel that, and this might be controversial to say, and maybe Duncan Jones with World of Warcraft is the man to beat it, but there has never been a good video game film. And I think so far, and the reason for that is it's just like, it's just staring you in the face, is that a video game is like a sort of a unique experience to you. You are playing the game, and just like watching somebody else play a video game is not fun. It's not fun watching a video game adaptation because you're not playing it. So my answer is there is no game that I would like to adapt. Maybe Rampage, but somebody's probably already doing that. I'd do Rampage, but I feel like maybe that's already, you know, there's other movies that are already like that. So I would say no video game. I think that's a good thing, because I think the character has a great kind of high concept power, and I think the fact that it's lesser known means that, like, you're actually freer to kind of adapt the material, which I think is a good thing. Because I think sort of, you know, Man of Steel has proved that people like sort of like, for a character that's like decades old, some people have a very strong opinion of what he should and shouldn't do. And, you know, personally I'd find that really difficult to actually try and like make a movie with people sort of being so kind of impassioned about like sort of what the character is and what, you know, I mean, the whole idea is you're doing an adaptation. I mean, Chris Nolan's Batman is very different to Tim Burton's Batman, which is very different to Adam West's Batman, and there's room for all three. It's like, the character can support that in the same way that, you know, 6 James Bonds are all different. So, but, you know, I think the nice thing about that title and that character is that there is a bit more license to kind of do something different with it. My answer to that very long question is no comment. Not really entering into the Ask Me Anything spirit, I apologise. Oh, that's a good one. Damage Control. Simon Pegg and Nick Froster's Damage Control. That'd be pretty good. That'd be a good movie. There you go. Let's do it.
The world's end.
What do we do? Let's finish our drinks.